Okay, we got about 4 or 5 minutes left. As a Christian entrepreneur, should I be hiring Christians only for my business?
It depends on what your business is. So in my business, it's Christians only. You know, I'm a pastor of a church.
That's a good point. I didn't think about it like that.
Yeah, and so obviously, in just about everything that we do, it's going to be a believer that we use. Now, if we have somebody coming in, you know, to build something, contractors, that kind of stuff. If I've got a Christian contractor who's a good contractor, that's important because we're doing things for Jesus. If he's a good contractor, then yeah, I want to bless a brother in that kind of situation. But I don't just hire Christians just because they're Christians, because Christians are some of the flakiest people I've ever met. You know, and so you can have guys that don't have a good work ethic, and as a matter of fact, they'll take advantage of you because you're a believer. And it's something that Paul warns about in the book of Colossians. I want to read that to you so you get the, you know, kind of the concept here. Let's see. Is it in this passage?
What are you looking for?
Looking for the one that talks about you're working for a brother and he's blessed because you're blessing him because he's a brother. Open to us a door. It's probably in here and I'm missing it. Might be in Ephesians. Let me look there. That's not the one either. Colossians 3:22. Yeah. There's a you know, I'm going to have to, if you can find it, that'd be awesome. But there's a passage that talks about the fact that you're doing things for, you're working for a brother, and there's a double benefit in that the person who's being blessed by you is a brother, right? And so, in any case, the Bible says that we're not to do things with eye service. Verse 22 of Colossians 3 says, "Bondservants, obey in all things your masters according to the flesh, not with eye service as men pleasers, but in sincerity of heart, fearing God. And whatever you do, do it heartily as to the Lord, not to men, knowing that from the Lord you will receive the reward of the inheritance. For you serve the Lord Christ," and so on. So the reason that Paul lets you know that, and he does that in a number of passages, is because Christians can have a tendency to flake off again when they're serving somebody who's a Christian, and so that's always an issue there. And so when I'm looking at hiring guys, I used to be a contractor, and so when I'm looking at hiring guys as a contractor, I would look at Christians. I would like to have a Christian on my crew. That's a great thing because I want to bless somebody who's a believer, but he needs to be a Christian who wants to work. Otherwise, we're going to have some conflict, and he's going to get fired. I'm going to get rid of him. And I've had situations like that. I've never actually fired a guy. I haven't fired a whole lot of people, but it became obvious that I was not pleased with their work ethic, and I've had Christians leave because they didn't want to work for me anymore. And I was good with it, absolutely good with it. And then there have been guys who are non-Christians, and you get what you get with a non-Christian, but if I'm looking for a framer, I want somebody who knows how to frame. If I'm looking for a concrete guy, I want a guy who knows how to do concrete. And my business was my ministry. actually one of my ministries at that point. And so the guys that I would hire, if I hired a non-Christian, he's going to hear about Jesus. I'm going to be talking to him about the Lord. And so I use that as an opportunity to share the gospel with people who didn't know Jesus. And so I had a number of guys that were on my crews that weren't Christians. And what I did was I talked to them about the Lord. And so if it was my druthers, I'd like to have a guy who's skilled and who knows Jesus and who has a work ethic where he's working for the Lord and not for me. That would be my druthers. And if not, what I want is somebody who's going to get the job done, because if I'm doing stuff for other people, that's what a service is all about. If I'm doing stuff for other people, it needs to be quality work. And so I want somebody who can do quality work, and if they're not a Christian, then I can share the Lord with them, and they get saved, and then they got the best of both worlds at that point. So that's what I'd be looking at.
Okay, the other side of that is if you are not hiring but you're spending money, do you, and this is getting increasingly more difficult. We talked when you were gone last week about the Disney movie, the places you shop. Do you try and give your money to Christian organizations? And I know we got to eat, we got to drive cars and stuff, but do you try and spend your money in those areas of faith as well?
Yeah, absolutely. It's like I want to bless a brother, and so I go to Ranch and Home all the time because I know the guy that owns the place is a believer, and he's a good guy, and so. I go there all the time. I've got other people who are in my church and they've got businesses. And so I like to frequent their businesses and, try to help them out with stuff, because a lot of times they're just giving me free things or giving the church free things. And so, it's like I want to help their business. And so, yeah, I'm paying attention to those things. There are other businesses. What's a chicken place? Chick-fil-A.
Wow.
If we had a Chick-fil-A here, I'd be going there all the time, because Chick-fil-A is a noticeably Christian business, and they make stands. Hobby Lobby, same kind of thing. They make biblical stands, and so I don't frequent Hobby Lobby, but my wife does, and so I pay attention to those things. And then businesses that torque my gourd, I don't want to spend my money on you, dude. Go woke, go broke. And I have that kind of attitude too. There have been places that I haven't gone in years because they keep making ridiculous stands as far as cultural issues and specifically biblical issues. And so I don't want to give you my money. So.
All right, I tried. I cannot find that address. So maybe next time.